Hello students, let's discuss topic 4 networks 4.1.1/2 Edexcel GCSE Computer Science. Under this heading, the main things we need to discuss are LANs and WANs. Now, the L stands for local, and then area network, and then the W here stands for wide. Now be careful that it does not mean wireless, it's wide area network. And also it should be noted that there's a difference between the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet is the hardware, like the cables, routers. It's like having the road system, like you've got all your road systems, and then www is like the cars that kind of run on top, or the buses that run on top, or the trains. These are the services. So the Googles and things like that, they're all services of the World Wide Web. But the internet is something slightly different. That's the physical networking of all the computer devices together. And the internet was around before the World Wide Web, before Sir Tim Berners-Lee set up those protocols, HTTP and HTML. Before he set all of that up, the internet did exist. Computers could talk to each other, but we just didn't have that sort of public way of sharing hyperlinks or files, links to things. So why do we create these types of networking? This is all under the umbrella of networking. Well, sharing folders and files is very handy. We can access different folders on different computers. We can have different users with permissions, like administrators and public permissions. Peripheral devices, such as printers and scanners, can be shared. So the way I would remember this is, if you've got your classroom, your bog standard kind of classroom at school, and you've got all your computers around the wall, and you sit down and you go to your computers every day, and then maybe outside in the corridor there's a printer that you can send print to, and it'll give you a printer. Then all of those computers can access that printer. Pretty handy. And also the computer can handle different users accessing it. The same computer, if you log in with different credentials, it would be fine. And you can share the internet connection, share the internet bandwidth. All of those things super helpful. So a local area network is usually connected with cables, and they might be most of the time they're what we call Cat5e, which looks kind of like telephone cables. And there are lots of different categories of cables now, but that was pretty much what most buildings were laid out with. So there are physical wired connections between all of those devices, and there'll be some sort of switch which allows all of those devices to be sort of go to a little hub and speak to each other. And that organization will usually own those devices. It could be, Cisco or something like that. So typically LANs are used in things like schools. They might be in a small company, like a small business, and also at home. Your home is a local area network, isn't it? Wider area networks transmit over large distances. So maybe you've got, different cities. You've got Manchester, and then you've got Bournemouth down here, and then you've got different branches. For example, I don't know, like maybe HSBC have branches all over the country, so they would have a wide area network connecting all of those devices together, because the HSBC systems have to talk to each other, right? And so they may even have specialized satellites for that. They might have special cables that enable some of that. I'm sure British Telecom and EE and Virgin, they all have special ways of communicating with their different hubs around the country. So it'll be essentially a collection of LANs connected together over a wide area. And you can manage them centrally then. You could have like a head office in, say, London, which can set user profiles and security patches for all of them. Software can be distributed to all of those computers on the network. So it's typical that in a school you'll have an IT office, and then they might send a patch out to all the computers or give an update for some sort of system, so that we can start using cloud storage, something like that, or an update to Word. That gives you a bit of context about the differences between local area networks and wide area networks. Here are some exam questions. Give 2 reasons for connecting computers into a network. Well, what I say to you is don't overthink this. There can be lots and lots of different reasons here, so you only need to give 2. So I'd probably put share files. Use a bit of pen. Share files, data. I'd probably put that. Share applications. Peripherals, that's a good one. A peripheral is a fancy name for a device like a printer. But a mouse is a peripheral, a keyboard is a peripheral. These are all things that we add, or speakers, something like that, or a projector system. You could have a hotspot. There are so many you could add here. Remote monitoring, backup, remote support, loads and loads there. Describe one way a local area network is different from a wide area network. So don't overthink this. A local area network, and it tells you there, so you don't need to expand on it, covers a small area. I mean, if you want to be really careful, you say geographic. And a WAN covers a large area. Very simple. It's enough to give you 2 marks. But you could also talk about a local area network uses infrastructure owned by one company. Like, it could be like a Cisco. A wide area network might have different companies' systems that they connect to each other. So there might be a Huawei or a TP-Link system in one office, and then Cisco in another one. A local area network connects individual devices, and a wide area network will connect LANs together using what we call gateways. So think of a WAN as really just like a collection of LANs. There's a whole load of LANs around the country or different places. Could be like a number of coffee shops. So a wide area network is when they're all connected together. Identify the reason computers are connected to a network. Well, this is a bit of a weird question. To improve encryption? No. To prevent hacking? Not necessarily. It it can make it worse for it potentially if the computers are connected together, because worms could propagate themselves. Reduce latency, the time delay, no. So I think just by process of elimination you can get the right answer, but this is the correct answer because sharing peripherals is one of the benefits, as we talked about, of a local area network. So sharing that printer with the class, with all the computers, is a benefit of a local area network. Good.